Hello and welcome to something new I'm going to be doing, where I give you my Prem team in a month based on games I've seen on TV or highlights, as well as stats that I take from online. I'm mostly going to be using stats from whoscored.com. Now, I will preface this by saying I am predominantly, in terms of Premier League, a Man United fan. I also have a soft spot for Aston Villa, but mainly in general I am a Pompey fan. So if you see any bias based on more United players or more Villa or a lack of scummers, that may be why that happens. I'm going to try, or at least I'm going to try and be as fair as possible throughout all the months I do this, really. So opening up the team, and this may look like bias right here, but I'm going with Emi Martinez. He's the new £20 million signing from Arsenal, who made his name at the end of last season, getting a run of games for Arsenal due to Bernd Leno's injury, and made a good case for himself. Now this season he has played full 90 minutes in 2 games they've played so far, Aston Villa, getting clean sheets in both, a 1-0 win against Sheffield and 3-0 against Fulham, including a penalty save at a vital time against Sheffield, where Sheffield had gone down to 10 men, but it was still 0-0 at the time. Makes a penalty save, keeps Villa in the game and gives them a chance to win it, which they did. He managed to average a 7.4 over those 2 games, and he was a bit fortunate maybe at Fulham. There was a disallowed goals, he spilt a shot which allowed Decordova-Reid to put in a rebound, but it was pulled back for a Mitrovic foul in the build-up. But he did make another top save in that game to keep a Joe Bryan effort out from around the edge of the area, tipped onto the bar. So a good couple games from Emi Martinez, and he goes into our starting 11 in goal. And the sub-keeper for this, I will be doing bench players, is Carl Darlow of Newcastle United. Now he's starting in place of an absentee Dubravka. He did get an ankle injury either in pre-season or just in training. Not there was much pre-season that went on thanks to a prolonged last season thanks to the virus. He has played the full 90 minutes in the 3 games so far and achieved a 7.55 average rating from that. He got a clean sheet against West Ham, although was then victim to a 3-0 loss to Brighton, but there wasn't much he could have done. The Newcastle team really didn't just turn up that day. However, he did also get man of the match against Tottenham in their 1-1 draw. He did keep them in the game at 1-0 for a long time, giving them a chance to get that late contentious penalty to take a point. He made some great saves, including a double save where he initially saved from a free kick and then managed to get himself in front of a Kane rebound. There was also another save, a Kane header from around the edge of the 6-yard box that he managed to get behind. Maybe some people might look and think I may give it to someone like Meslier at Leeds, who's had a decent start, but his main good game was against Sheffield in their 1-0 win, and other than that he has conceded 7 goals in the other 2 games. And one of those, although most of them are pens, there was quite a poor one from the Van Dijk header from a Liverpool game. So I did decide to go with Carl Darlow. He goes on the bench there. And starting the defence is quite rather interesting. I've gone Tariq Lamptey at Brighton. He's just joined from Chelsea last season for 4 mil. Started to get a look in towards the end of the season. I think he made 8 straight appearances after the restart to end the season. And he has played all 3 games so far, including an assist for Trossard in the first game in the 3-1 loss to Chelsea, before winning pens in both the 3-0 win against Newcastle and that dramatic 3-2 loss to United in the 100th minute. He did manage to pick up a 7.17 average rating from those 3 games, and he has now attracted interest from Bayern Munich, who are willing to pay around £15 million, but Brighton are looking more towards something like 25 million. But just in a short space of time, both the few games last season and this season, you can see he's already made an impact and caught a lot of people's eyes. Kind of a diminutive player, but his pace is just frightening and just something, kind of a match-up problem for any team. They need someone to deal with him, and he's a hard little man to deal with. So he goes in at right back and open up the centre-backs, and again with the bias maybe, Ezri Konsa for Aston Villa. Now he did have a rough first season last season after completing his move from Brentford. Kind of in and out on the side before eventually becoming the main part to Mings in a difficult season for Villa, in which they only just managed to stay up on the final day. Over this season he started strong. He's managed to play full 90s in both games. Villa have only played 2 and managed to get clean sheets in them both, as Villa are still, I think to this point, the only team to not concede a goal this season. Yeah, wins against Sheffield and Fulham. He even grabbed the winner and man the match in the Sheffield game, and managed to get an 8.01 average rating over those 2 games in a much improved start for the young English centre-back. And joining him at centre-back will be Tyrone Mings, also at Villa. He was their most important defender in that difficult last season, and he started off this season relatively good and important again, with 2 full 90s and 2 clean sheets, obviously, as well as Konsa and Martinez. Managed to grab himself assist for that concert goal in the Sheffield game, and managed to also grab Villa's third against Fulham and achieved an 8.14 average rating from those two games. And moving on to left back, we have Lucas Digne at Everton. It's been a great start to the season for the former Barca man and Everton themselves. He's played 3 full 90 minutes as Everton have gone 3 for 3, and well, personally for him, he got a wonderful assist from a deep wide free kick in the Tottenham game, stuck it on the head of Calvert-Lewin. Also obviously got a clean sheet in that game as it did finish 1-0, as well as 2 more good performances and wins against West Brom and Palace, earning himself a 7.44 average rating whilst completing 84.8% of his passes, which is a relatively decent return for a fullback who is tasked with delivering a high amount of crosses from out wide. So a great start to the season for Digne. And the sub in terms of defenders will be Timothy Castagne. It has also been a wonderful start for the former Atalanta man who completed his £21.5 million move this window. Early on he's been tasked with filling in for the very highly regarded Ricardo Pereira at right back, and the Belgian has started and featured for the entirety of all 3 wins as they sit top of the Premier League after 3 games. After starting the season very well, marking his debut with a goal and a clean sheet in a 3-1 win over West Brom, he continues to make an impact by grabbing an assist in both the 4-2 win over Burnley and the shocking 5-2 victory at Man City, leading him to a 7.47 average rating in the process over those 3 games. So opening up the midfield, we do have Richarlison at Everton. Now I have stuck him on the right, I understand he more plays on the left now. Yeah, the former centre forward has slowly transitioned more into a winger and started and played full 90s in all 3 games on the left hand side. Starting off the season with a man of match performance in a 1-0 win over Tottenham, he followed up that performance with a couple of assists in a 5-2 win against West Brom before scoring the winner against Palace in their 2-1 victory. And over these 3 games he has earned himself an 8.37 average rating as per who scored. At the first centre mid, I'm going with his teammate James Rodriguez. The former Real Madrid attacking midfielder has shown us that form is temporary, but boy is class permanent in his first 3 appearances in an Everton shirt. He has mostly been deployed on the right by Carlo Ancelotti, though he has started all 3 games, putting on a passing masterclass in all 3, including a goal and assist in their 5-2 win over West Brom, as Everton have been one of 3 teams to win all their 3 games thus far, including Everton and Liverpool also. In these wonderful performances he has managed to earn himself an 8 average rating. And joining him at centre mid is Mateusz Klich at Leeds. The 30-year-old Polish centre midfielder has transitioned well into Premier League, as Leeds have made a great start to top division life with 2 wins from 3, and the only newly promoted team to win any game thus far, and have managed to do 2 in the process. So he has started all 3 games. He picked himself up a goal as Leeds only just fell at the hands of Liverpool in a 4-3 loss, before picking himself up a goal and an assist in the 4-3 win over Fulham and playing the full 90 in the 1-0 win at Sheffield, earning himself a 7.4 average rating over those 3 games. And on the left we have Sadio Mane. Part of Liverpool's famed front 3, the left winger has started this season off well for the current English champions. After putting in a good performance in their 4-3 win against Leeds, but not directly getting involved in any of the goals, the Senegalese international made up for this with a brace and man of the match in a 2-0 win at Chelsea, followed by a goal and yet another man of the match performance in their recent 3-1 win against Arsenal, picking up an 8.12 average rating in the meantime. Now the sub for midfield will be Andros Townsend at Crystal Palace. The 29-year-old English winger has continued to prove to be one of Palace's more important players as they've picked up 2 wins out of their first 3 games. Townsend has played the full 90 minutes in all 3 games, picking up an assist for the only goal of the game in a 1-0 win at Scum, before scoring the opening goal in their 3-1 win at Man United, and then notching another assist in their 2-1 loss to Everton, finishing with a match rating above 7.5 in all 3 of those games, earning an average rating of 7.66 in the process. Now I am, which you'll see through this Townsend choice, more likely to look at people like him who have performed well over the games throughout the month, kind of consistently putting in good performances, as opposed to, for instance, let's say this month, Son, who managed to score 4 in that one game against Southampton, but not really doing it in any other game. I believe he got subbed off at half time in one of the other games, and obviously the opener against Everton didn't go too well for them. So I am more likely to look at these people who did manage to play well over the 3 games in a month that it's been this month, and other months it may be 5-6 games. But yeah, that's more how I kind of make my selection process. But enough about that. Going into the strikers now and open it up with Jamie Vardy at Leicester. the back of his Golden Boot win last season, Leicester's frontman has got off to a great start this season, heading straight to the top of the top scorers chart once again with 5 goals in his first 3 games, consisting of a brace in their season opener against West Brom, followed by a headline-making hat-trick in the 5-2 win against City, grabbing himself man of the match in the process. Now at 33, Vardy is almost looking better than ever, with ever-improving composure and decision-making in opposition boxes. I'm literally stunned by this man. I'd like to think we will be talking about him years after he's retired. The path he's gone on, rocking up in English or even professional football rather late, but Premier League even later, to still be performing the way he is, to me, is very impressive. And joining Vardy in both the strike force of this team as well as the top scorer charts is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The Everton striker has looked a changed man under Carlo Ancelotti, picking up great positions inside the box to finish off Everton's excellent passing moves. In doing so, he's grabbed himself 5 goals as well as Vardy in the first 3 games, starting with the only goal of the game in their 1-0 win over Tottenham, followed by an emphatic hat-trick and man of the match in their 5-2 win over West Brom, and finishing off with another goal in their 2-1 win at Palace, earning himself an 8.38 average rating in the process, and it's looking like he could win the actual Premier League Player of the Month, maybe, looking at it, going head-to-head with Vardy in this case. And capping off the team as my sub-striker for September, and something I wouldn't have predicted prior to the start of the season, is Leeds frontman Patrick Bamford. Despite scoring 16 goals in the Championship for title-winning Leeds last season, many doubted his ability, as well as myself, to replicate this success in the Premier League, with many pointing to a subpar conversion rate on the chances presented to him in the league below. Bamford seems to have put those doubts to the back of his mind, however, scoring a goal in each of his first 3 games, whilst also picking up an assist as well in their win against Fulham, which has helped Leeds on their way to an impressive start to life in the top league of English football. There you have it, that's my Premier League Team of the Month for September. Let me know if you think I've left anyone out in the comments, or if you agree with any of my decisions. I'll look forward to doing this for October and the months to come. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.